like to convene the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. I am Jim Stillwell. Item number 1 is to establish a quorum and call to order. Chelsea, if you would please call the roll.
Darrell Wood, John Clements, Pamela Gibson, Jim Stillwell,
Here,
Mark Chilton, Andy Warford.
we have 7 present. We do have a quorum. Item 2 is the statement of the FOIA compliance. I'll read the statement, and then we'll call roll again, and you will reply, I affirm. I affirm that I have not engaged in any prohibited discussion, deliberation, or polling regarding any item on this meeting's agenda outside of a properly noticed and open meeting, in compliance with the Arkansas Freedom of Information Act as amended by Act 505 of 2025. Chelsea, please call the roll.
Brett Chumley, Lois Burks, John Clements, Pamela Gibson, Jim Stillwell,
Affirm.
Mark Chilton, Andy Warford.
Thank you so much for that affirmation. Item number 3 is the approval of the minutes from the May 5th, 2026 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. I would entertain a motion to approve. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. The motion passes. Item 4, the Board of Adjustments. We will convene item A, 513 Allgood Street, a variance for north side setbacks. Chelsea, please read the request.
Erica York, which is the property owner, is requesting approval of a variance for her property located at 513 Allgood Street. The property is currently zoned R2, which is single-family district. According to the zoning ordinance 14 of 17, side setbacks have a 5-foot setback minimum. There is an existing home that was built in 2024 that sits 2.81 feet from the rear side and 4.28 feet from the front side of the property line, and this is on the north side of the property. This applicant is requesting a variance from a 5-foot side setback to 2.81 and 4.28 to make this building compliant with current code. All rules requirements have been met in accordance with city ordinance. DRC Benton Utilities have approved.
Thank you, Chelsea. Is there anyone here representing this item? Being none, are there any comments or questions from the commissioners? If there are no comments or questions, I would entertain a motion. Item A fails for lack of a motion. Moving on to item B, 1024 Military Road, a variance for sign size. Chelsea, if you would please read the request.
Southpaw Designs, on behalf of Tobacco Town, is requesting approval of a mural to be painted on the side of their building at 1024 Military Road. According to City of Benton sign ordinance, signs cannot be larger than 10% of the wall size. Rules requirements have been met in accordance with City Ordinance. DRC Benton Utilities have approved.
Thank you, Chelsea. Is there anyone here representing this item? Being no representation, is there any commissioners that have a comment or question? If there are no comments or questions, I would entertain a motion. If there is no motion, this item also fails. Moving on, after adjourning the Board of Adjustments meeting, we will convene the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Item A, 221 Clark Street, a rezone from R2 to C1, conditional use. Bless you.
The applicant, Sarita Bosan, she originally came forth in her notification to get to residential to commercial. We spoke with her, and we also spoke with some of the local members of the Ralph Bunche community. Our feeling was this would be a better fit as a conditional use, with the conditions being a accessory building on a vacant lot. This is only to store equipment for her business. I believe it's pickles. Yeah, so, and I'll let you come speak if you'd like in a moment. Basically, it's just storage of jars and just other stuff for her pickle business. The conditions we recommend would be to allow the accessory building. No commercial equipment is stored on site, so no food truck or anything of that nature, and there would be no foot traffic, because it's not going to be a commercial. This does sit right in the middle of a residential area, so we feel this is a good compromise to allow this use. Typically, you cannot have an accessory building without a primary structure on the property. So this conditional use would be to allow the accessory structure on the property without a primary structure, but then allow, just basically, conditions are no commercial activities on that property. So no selling on the property, no storage of food trucks or anything of that nature. So, and that's staff recommended approval at this point.
Thank you. Would you like to speak on this item? And since we're at a slight break, if you would state your name and sign the book, please.
Sure. My name is Sarita Balson. I was born and raised in Benton, so I'm coming home. I started this business in Nashville, Tennessee. During the pandemic, my dad's wife passed. I moved back to Arkansas, and I wanted to continue my business. And we have grown, and we are growing. And I live in Sherwood now, but things are changing. And we have the pickles in grocery stores here in town. And so I want to come home. I need a place that we could house inventory, a place where I can take care of more of my business, because we're scaling. And I thought this would be a good place for me to come. It's a nice neighborhood. I didn't want to be a deterrent to anybody. We're not going to have people running in or out, a lot of vehicles or anything of that nature. We just continue to do business, and it will allow me to kind of stretch my wings a little bit. We're looking to get on Walmart.com, and so I need a kind of like a distribution center, if that makes sense.
Certainly. Thank you. Are there any questions from the commission?
Yes, yes, it is. And Miss Costello, what's Miss Costello's last name? Oh, okay. I did talk to her, and I told her what I would be doing, and she was okay. I talked to Miss Costello. I talked to the Jones family. I talked to the Wilson family. The Johnson family was on a cruise, so I didn't get an opportunity to talk to them, but
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I would entertain a motion. We have a motion. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. Chelsea, please call the roll.
Brett Chumley, Lois Burks, John Clements, Pamela Gibson, Mark Chilton, Andy Warford.
We have 6 yes. This item passes. Moving on to item B, 1218 River Street, a rezone from R2 to H1. Is that H1 or HI?
HI.
Beg your pardon. From R2 to HI.
Richard-
Chelsea, please read the request.
Sorry. Richardson Engineering, on behalf of Chad Slaughter, property owner, is requesting approval of a rezone for their property located at 1218 River Street. Property is currently zoned R2. They're requesting this property to be rezoned to HI, which is heavy industrial. All questions and comments from Benton Utilities, City of Benton, have been approved. Just to clarify with you guys, the majority of this parcel is already zoned HI. This is the small portion at the very bottom left corner. They are just trying to rezone that portion to match the rest of the existing parcel.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak for this item? Hello, Eric. state your name and sign the book.
Good evening, Eric Richardson, Richardson Engineering, here representing Mr. Chad Slaughter tonight. Thanks, Chelsea. As Chelsea said, this property, you all may have a map in front of you. Most of the property is already zoned heavy industrial, or is it, it's light industrial, HI, heavy industrial. I'm not really sure how that little corner got zoned R2, but we're here to just see if we can get that correct.
Thank you. Are there questions from the commission? If there are no questions, I would entertain a motion. We have a motion. Is there a second? Motion and a second. Chelsea, please call the roll.
Brett Chumley. Lois Burks. John Clements. Pamela Gibson. Mark Chilton. Andy Warford.
We have 6 yes. This item passes. Moving on to item C, Dobbs Creek zoning assignment. Chelsea, please read the request.
Hope Consulting, on behalf of the property owner, is requesting a zoning assignment of R2, which is single-family district, to the Dobbs Creek property that was annexed into Benton city limits by city council in May 2026. All rules and requirements have been met in accordance with city ordinance, and DRC Benton Utilities have approved.
Thank you. Is there anyone here representing this item? Jonathan, please
Yes,
state
sir.
your name and sign the book.
Jonathan Hope with Hope Consulting. This project has been brought to you guys previously. You're probably familiar with it. I was not a part of that before, but I did sit through some of the meetings, so I did hear some of the comments. It originally was proposed for 320 lots, and then it got pulled back to 280, and then now we're proposing 255. This went through the annexation process, the city council. We attached the R2 request to that with a 7,000 square foot minimum requirement for the lots. Some things that have changed since the last time. We have taken away any driveway access to Mountain View Road, so there's no driveways or lots facing Mountain View Road. There's an access to the service road that's been acquired. So if this is approved, they'll have access directly to the service road. So a great option to hit the service road versus everybody going out Mountain View Road. Just to the north on Jackman, about 1,600 feet directly to the north, there's the Grove and Centennial Valley. Those lots are 6,000, 7,000 square feet. So not very far away, a similar size neighborhood. So they've worked really hard to go acquire the easements to the service road and make changes and reduce lot sizes. And happy to hear any feedback you all have, but they've definitely made some changes. Thank you all.
Are there any questions for Mr. Hope?
Is that working? I'm gonna say again, I don't think this ought to be R2. Actually, according to our ordinances, it should be an R1. The intent of R1 is to allow for a limited number of low-density, large lot residential neighborhoods within the city. This district is most appropriate in low-density areas along the fringe of the urban area. Development in this district is to consist of single-family subdivisions. Those lots would be a minimum of 11,500. R2, we have 2 years of R2 piled up right now. Benton, City of Benton is averaging 47 sales a month on residential homes. We have 281 on the market. And I guess the last year and a half, off the top of my head, and I can be corrected, we've approved 1,060 R2 homes that we would call, beginner homes, up to 250. So if nothing else sells in the city of Benton, it'll take 2 years to sell all these R2 homes we have piled up. As of right now, only 23 of these 1,060 are either on the market, have sold, or have an offer on them. We have very few homes. If you want to build a big home, you can go to the back of Hurricane Lake, or you can go to the Woodlands. Benton offers nothing else if you're building a $400,000, $500,000, $700,000 home. and they are certainly selling out there. You can go up and down Congo Road, you can go out in Salem, Avila, $500,000 to $700,000 homes are selling everywhere. We don't have that choice in Benton. This would give us a choice of bigger homes. But we have gobs of R2. It's, yeah, no, just our ordinance.
Oh, you're talking about the R1? Okay.
Yeah, R1,
right.
going R1 instead
Those are
of
11.5,
R2.
right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Commissioner Chilton. Are there other commissioners that wish to make a comment? Commissioner Gibson?
No, it's always been R3 that's been recommended, which is the 3,500 square foot homes. And, we voted that down quite a few times, and then they proposed R2, which is 7,000 square feet in size. And I think, and Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that we did the math on the number of lots, and if we took it to R1, it would only take away 6 lots. So it would go from how many did you say, 240?
It's at 255 now, but if you're talking about 7,000 to 11,500, that's, I would say that's probably closer to 100. So maybe 155, I would say is probably,
And those numbers are just thrown from just, pure acreage, so it doesn't take
3
into
per
account.
acre for
It
sure.
doesn't take into account the roads and.
Right.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
green space, I think, that's being proposed.
I'm just trying to think of the math, but I think probably 155 instead of 255 if you did 11,500.
500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Okay. So we will have a main entrance on both. So what I was mentioning is before, the way the layout was originally submitted to you all, it could have allowed access with driveways on maybe 5 or 6 lots onto Mountain View Road. And so we've taken those off and redesigned, so all of the lots, the houses will be on the interior, and none will have access to Mountain View Road. But there will be a main access on Mountain View Road.
Driveways will not have access to Mountain View.
Correct.
They would be interior lots exiting onto the street within subdivision.
You got it.
Thanks.
Two. Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
The one to the access road on plat we had been shown earlier was a 40-foot access. It was not a 50-foot. And I asked about it, and I can't remember what I was told now.
The preliminary plat hasn't been approved through staff or anything yet.
I can go back, I don't have that on me right now, but yeah, this was just about use at this point. Any other questions? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, the plat, I believe, is gonna be preliminary, is gonna be looked at next month, so. Yep.
Correct. Right. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Do you think we could get approval on a R1 zoning tonight? Is that, is any pushback on that?
It'll have to go before city council if it changes from R2. That's what the city council had said, was that they wanted R2.
Okay,
So if it changes or modifies, they'll get final say.
let's
We
modify.
can make a recommendation, but then it still has to go before.
Okay, let's modify that application to R1.
Okay, so if the planning commission approves R1, then this will go, it'll be written up and it'll go to the city council at the end of this month, or I believe it's the 22nd? I think that's right. Yeah, the 22nd, we'll go to council with the recommendation of an R1, and then the council at that point can decide R1 or not. Since the annexation order said R2, but any changes to that, it goes back to council.
Yes, ma'am.
so.
Yes, sir. Understand.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Hope before I allow the other faction to speak? Is there anyone here wishing to speak against this item? Due to the potential volume of speakers, I will limit you to 3 minutes, but you are welcome to speak. So please come forward, state your name, and sign the book.
Hello, I'm Jackie Dawson, and I appreciate all of you serving on this committee. And I consider you leaders in this community. And I sent a letter, I emailed a letter to all of you last Friday with some pictures. The letter specifically detailed some concerns I've had since day one when I heard about this project. Whether we build 320 houses or we go to 255, that's a major concern. And I would ask, why do we want to do that in the city of Benton? I'm not against a beautiful subdivision, but 255 houses. We have rural two-lane roads on Mountain View Road, a two-lane road. And of course, I haven't seen the new plat proposal. If the entrance and exit is still below the hill and under the blind curve, that's a dangerous situation. That's never been addressed. I understand that another entrance and exit will definitely help. But if you build 255 houses, each family has 2 cars, consider the number of cars that's going to add on that 2-lane road. It's going to be a dangerous situation. We already have 3 schools there. Now we're going to have potentially 5 million people traveling through the Buc-ee's area. Y'all, that's too much traffic. That's too much congestion. That's not fair to us or any potential residents that want to be there. When I spoke to Mr. Hope on the phone, and I asked, how many houses, what are we looking at, what are you proposing, and why? He said to me, it's the trend, smaller lots, smaller houses. So I would ask each of you, are you going to vote on what's trendy or what is healthy for Saline County and for the city of Benton? You know, and in my letter, I told you I was born and raised here, and I've been a registered nurse for 50 years. And for 50 years, I have been very, very proud of my community. And I very much promote health and well-being. We need places for kids to throw balls and to ride bicycles and ride tricycles. You know, we don't need these little 1,100 square foot homes on tiny lots. And also, I have lots of questions, and tonight may not be the time to ask this, but there's a creek that runs through that property. I walked down to the service road the other day. I've walked back there multiple times in the 48 years I've lived there. What's going to happen to that creek? Are we going to dam that creek? Are we going to put pipes through that creek? What's going to happen to that creek?
Ms. Dawson, I'm going to have to call time. I'm sorry.
I just hope.
Mr. Montalvo yields to you to give you an additional 3 minutes.
Again, it's about health, safety, and well-being. And as leaders of our city and our community, I want to promote health and well-being. I want to promote trails that we can walk on, city streets that are safe, good lighting, safe streets to cross to get these kids to the Mountain View School or the elementary school or the middle school. So, does my question get answered tonight about the creek, or is that for a different time? Okay, okay. And then it's, just on Mountain View Road by the cemetery entrance where the proposal was for the entrance and exit. That is a very wet area. And again, the plat that I looked at previously had 10 or 15 homes built right there on top of that wetland. There's lots of things to consider. And I'm not an engineer, I'm not a consulting firm, but I just ask you to please, please consider all the things that are important to the people that live in Mountain View, in the Mountain View area, and to the new residents that'll live there, because it's a great area. I mean, we're close to Hot Springs, we're close to Little Rock, we're close to Benton. It's a great area, but let's just not approve an overcrowded, a subdivision that is mass-produced with cheap products. And again, I ask why? Why would we want to do that? We're not a college town. We're not desperate for homes in this area. So I hope that you consider everything that I wrote in the letter and that I've spoke about tonight, and I appreciate your time very much.
Thank you. Are there others that wish? Hey, Jack, please state your name and sign the book.
My name is Jack McQuarrie, and I live in this area. I'm sorry it takes me a while to sign anymore. May have to get Chris up here to sign for me.
You can just put a J.
There we go. We've spoke about this before with this board. And, you know, some things have come up. Number one, how did it get over to the city to annex? But number two, I would like to just basically say ditto to Ms. Dawson. I think that our major concern out there is all of these, and pardon this, but as far as I can see, it's what it's leading to are these shotgun houses that are going up out there in this area, bringing in just way too many houses for that area of land. It's beautiful country out there. Build the larger homes. You're going to get, you know, folks wanting to buy these larger homes. But in the meantime, let's don't flood it with people out there and cars. My wife and I, we have grandchildren that go to those schools out there. And I want all of those kids to be safe. But we also want Benton, I guess, since the city's decided to jump out there in the county and annex, to take care of the property owners out there as well. Because we've lived out there and we've cleared land and we've, you know, tried to landscape and everything else, and all of a sudden we've got, it's kind of like Buc-ee's and their gas pumps. We got way too many. And, you know, it's up to y'all to protect Benton, to have it growing up as being the beautiful little town or city that it is. And this is exactly where it can go wrong, is when you start, let's bring in tons of houses, somebody will buy them. No, let's build some nice properties out there that somebody's gonna buy them, they're just gonna pay more for them. But anyway, I just basically wanted to just say ditto to Ms. Dawson, and thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Are there others that wish to speak? State your name and sign the book.
Okay, my name is Kathy Maffett. Let me sign this so I can see it. and I do live down Mountain View on God's Glory Trail, which is exactly what that area is, God's Glory. Lennar is also building 300 or something homes a mile and a half or 2 miles down the road, which is going to be the same 1,100 to 1,300 square foot homes. Those people will be coming out on Mountain View or down Jackman Trail and up and around on the service road. The subdivision, the way it's laid out, I looked at the original, I haven't seen the new one. At least if you've got an 11,000 square foot lot, you're going to have a much better controlled environment. You get subdivisions like Lennar's, and what the original of the R2 was on this, they turn into rental homes. Those are first-time home buyer homes. Everybody needs a home, I understand that, but what happens to them is they can't sell them. And there, it turns into a rental community and a foreclosure community, sadly. So you haven't accomplished anything for this city of Benton. You have pushed the annexation down our throat, which the last time I was here, it was going, I mean, that was on the table because of the territorial jurisdiction had expired. So we thought this was done, and all of a sudden here we are, the property's annexed, and we're just kind of victims to what was decided on things we can't even vote about. I mean, it's not right. We're the ones who have to deal with the complications that come in from putting 255 or originally almost 300 homes in there, and the strain on the existing sewer system, water systems. I mean, who's going to be paying the bill for that? I know that they add a fee to each house, but in the long run, the city of Benton and us end up paying for it in our taxes. Something we didn't want, we didn't ask for, we didn't want it annexed. Are they going to expand the roads to improve, to accommodate the traffic? Right now, if you go to work at 8 o'clock or come home at 5 when the schools are out, they have to have a traffic officer there to direct traffic. So what's it going to be when you put in another 255 homes plus the Lennar subdivision? It's 300 homes. It's like, you know, that is no consideration for the residents who live there or for those who are going to buy there. They just come in, they've got a brand new home, we're excited. But then after a year or 2 or 3 and they can't get out, they're late to work, their kids can't cross the street, somebody gets hit riding their bike because they're going to school, there's a possibility you're going to put the high school there, another school, more traffic on limited roads. The service road doesn't hardly accommodate on a busy day now. And you're going to add 300 more homes or 250 homes that are also going to be out there. I realized it was a sewer issue for those people to put the subdivision in. I understand that, but that isn't our
sorry.
problem.
I'm
My
going
time
to have
is
to
up.
call time.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. I would encourage anyone to speak, and I so appreciate all of you participating in this process. I would remind you that if you have something new to say, we want to hear it. We sincerely want to hear it. We do not need to hear the same thing 50 times. So if there's someone else that would like to speak, I would welcome you to do so.
Can I ask a question of Jonathan?
Certainly.
At the R1 11.5, so we're talking 150 homes, roughly 170 maybe?
I would think 170 would be not possible.
Okay, because
Maybe 145 to 160.
about 3 per acre.
Right, right.
And you think some trees would be able to stay maybe
Oh, I would think so.
on,
Yeah,
on
I would
lots
think so.
this big?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, just kind of going through some of the comments. There is a creek, and the layout I showed, Mr. Warford has it. If we have identified that on our layout, I know this is just for use and rezoning, but we did identify that. We have noticed that. We would just cross the creek. We would certainly not dam that up. As far as traffic, you know, that has been, I've heard that a lot on this, and so we took a look at that really hard. This is, again, we addressed the driveways on Mountain View. We've got the extra access to the south. Per the county, that's a Class 5, which is the same as West Jackman. Class 5. The traffic count on Jackman is 30, 3,000 per day trips and 100 because of the additional home in the Centennial Valley. So Jackman is about 3 times the amount of traffic than Mountain View. So with all that being said, those houses up there obviously impacting that street, but, this street is pretty much the same width, 20 to 21 feet. And we're about 1/3 the traffic on Mountain View. So going from R2 down to R1 will definitely make sure that that doesn't increase to those levels.
That should help.
Yes.
Are there other questions or comments for Mr. Hope? Certainly, Ms. Dawson.
So then the water that flows heavily through there now during heavy rains will continue to flow through there. The creek will stay the same.
So the preliminary plat they're proposing that'll come forward next month, more than likely, they show roughly 2.5 acres of open green space following the creek. So they essentially are creating a riparian buffer between lots. So looks like it's probably 100 feet between lots. So about a 100-foot riparian way coming straight down where Dobbs Creek comes through the neighborhood right there. That's what they're proposing on the preliminary plat as is right now. Now, the planning commission so chooses to go down to R1, that could change lot size, but I think that green space will probably be there because that area's gonna be pretty unbuildable with being a creek.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dawson.
So the roadway that they have, they probably create a culvert to go under the road. What they're showing on a preliminary plat that's still under review right now, so it's not even finalized for review by the planning commission, shows roughly 2 acres of green space falling right along the creek from the top, from their border on the north all the way down to the border on the south. So the width of the subdivision right in that creek area. So essentially it's a riparian buffer between lots of roughly 100 to 120 feet or so. So that's what's shown currently. Everything's still under review. Planning commission will probably see the plat next month.
Keeping in mind that this is only a step in the process, this evening is not the final say. I get it. Go ahead, Philip. If you would step forward and speak into the microphone so people can hear, including me.
My name's Philip Montalvo.
Thank you.
Mr. Pope, I got a question about the access you keep talking about on the service road. Has that been 100% procured? Please.
So there's a contract, if this development is approved, then that would be purchased. So if it hadn't been purchased yet, there's just a contract that this is approved, they will buy it.
But there are 2 preliminary driveways approved by RDOT along the service road, and they've chosen to only go to one of them now.
They had, yes,
So-
we had
Now,
not.
we just need to make that clear that I believe it terminates in October, the contract.
November.
Okay.
You may need.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Montalvo. Are there any other questions or comments? Being none, I would entertain a motion, and in your motion, please state specifically what your motion is referring to, whether it be R2 or R1. And yes, ma'am, Ms. Gisborne. We have a motion of R1. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Chelsea, please call the roll.
Brett Chumley. Lois Burt. John Clements. Pamela Gibson. Mark Chilton.
Yes.
Andy Warford.
We have 6 yes. The motion passes. Moving on to item D, Scott Salem Road, a zoning assignment. Chelsea, please read the request.
Same thing as the last, Jonathan Hope with Hope Consulting on behalf of the property owners requesting a zoning assignment of R2, which is single-family district to Scott Salem Road property that was annexed into Benton city limits by city council May 26. All rules requirements have been met in accordance with city ordinance. DRC Benton Utilities have approved.
Thank you. Mr. Hope, are you representing this item?
Yes. Thank you, sir. Okay, so this is very small. This is 2 acres on the corner of White Oak and Scott Salem. These lots actually average over 10,000 square feet, but, you know, we'd lose a lot if we went up to that R1, but it's really close to R1, so these are fairly good-sized lots. To the north, adjacent to this, we have the Oaks, which the median lot in there is 70 by 100. So those ones adjacent to us to the north are about 7,000 square feet. Again, these are a little over 10,000 square feet. So just asking for your approval of what came last, which was the annexation proposing R2.
Thank you. Are there questions for Mr. Hope?
My name is Peggy Jacobs. I live on Scott Salem Road. I'm just curious, this is the first I've heard of any type of improvement, zoning, reassignment or whatever. What exactly are we planning for this?
Are there questions from the commission to Mr. Hope? And then Ms. Jacobs, I will allow you to speak again if you wish.
So we're proposing 6 single-family residential homes. I believe all but one of these would access on White Oak. The lot one, which I guess you guys aren't looking at a drawing, but lot one, there's a house there now currently that has access on Scott Salem. That would keep that drive on Scott Salem. The other 5 will have access on White Oak.
Comments or questions from the commission? Ms. Jacobs, do you have any other questions?
I'm
There's
not
really
sure.
no way to tell at this point.
We're over 10,000 square feet on average per lot, so it meets that requirement, minimum of R2. Single-family home, similar to the same.
Single-family homes.
Yes.
Ma'am, if you need to state your name and please sign the book. Thank you.
Now, the letter that we received in the mail said that they were trying to rezone to an R2 to R4, which to me would mean duplexes to quadplexes.
No, ma'am. So R4 is still single family, but they are requesting R2, which is single family with a lot size minimum of 7,000 square feet in size. So it wouldn't be duplexes or triplexes or quadplexes. Those are not allowed in single family zones.
Okay.
Thank you. Are there others that wish to speak on this item? If there are none, I would entertain a motion. We have a motion and a second. Chelsea, please call the roll.
Brett Chumley. Lois Sparks. John Clements. Pamela Gibson. Mark Chilton.
Yes.
Andy Wolford.
We have 6 yes, this item passes. Moving on to item E, 7016 Alcoa Road, site plan. Chelsea, please read the request.
Hope Consulting, on behalf of Alcoa Business Park, is requesting approval of a site plan for a 14-unit building to be located at 7016 Alcoa Road. Property is currently zoned C2, which is general commercial office spaces or permitted use. Rules and regulations have been followed and approved by DRC and Benton Utilities.
Thank you. Jonathan, please take the podium.
Jonathan Hope, this is, I think we're calling this multi-tenant flex space. This is similar to what's happening over just north of Walmart, over there where Blue House Bakery is and Copper Mule. So we'll have tenants like that, although he's not going to do restaurants. I think he's got tenants that are somebody that like has a lab for dentures, and then will sell dentures. So that's the kind of lease space that's going to be here. It's Benton Utilities, water, sewer, electric, no floodplain, nothing unusual about this. The dumpster we've got in the back for your ordinance, out of sight. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the commission? Is there anyone here wishing to speak against this item? If there are none, I would entertain a motion. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Chelsea, please call the roll.
Brett Chumley. Lois Sparks. John Clements. Pamela Gibson. Mark Chilton.
Yes.
Andy Wolford.
We have 6 yes, this item passes. Moving on to item F, Winchester and Browning, final plat. Chelsea, please read the request.
Hope Consulting, on behalf of GC Homes, is requesting approval of a final plat for Winchester Way. These lots are currently zoned R2. They were rezoned from C3 in 2025. They're requesting attached housing. Fees have been paid and requirements have been met in accordance with City of Benton subdivision ordinance. City of Benton staff, Benton Utilities staff, questions and comments have all been addressed and approved.
Thank you. Jonathan, once again.
Jonathan Hope, Hope Consulting, happy to answer any questions on this one.
Any comments or questions from the commission? Is there anyone here that wishes to speak against this item? Being none, I would entertain a motion. Motion to approve. Is there a second? Motion and a second. Chelsea, please call the roll.
Brett Chumley. Lois Sparks.
Yes.
John Clements. Pamela Gibson. Mark Chilton.
Yes.
Andy Wolford.
We have 6 yes, this item passes. Moving on to item G, 1220 Military Road, sign. Yes, ma'am. Oh. No problem. Chelsea, have you read the request? No worries.
Aaron Jackson, on behalf of Capital Barber College, requesting approval of a sign to be placed on the front of their building at 1220 Military Road. According to City of Benton, signs cannot be larger than 10% of the wall size. Rules requirements have been met in accordance with city ordinance. DRC Benton Utilities have approved.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Sure, go ahead.
Just to clarify, the only reason this sign is coming to the planning commission is because it's a vinyl sign, and in our ordinance, it specifically calls out vinyl signs. Now, with that said, vinyl signs, and since we're also going to have a couple wall signs that are painted coming up, they are still required to meet the 10% rule. But I've started noticing, and it's in our ordinance, that's why we're seeing these signs not come in that are murals or painted signs, or in this case, a vinyl sign. So that's why you're seeing these signs pop up right now at Planning Commission, because our ordinance specifically calls out Planning Commission to approve wall signs that are painted or vinyl.
Thank you. That's okay. Go ahead, sir.
My name is Aaron Jackson. I'm with Capital Barber College. And I'll just clarify that this is a temporary sign while I'm having a permanent sign made. It's temporary banner, yes, sir.
Any other questions from the commission? I would entertain a motion. Have a motion. Is there a second? Have a motion and a second. Chelsea Peak, please call the roll.
Brett Chumley. Lois Burt. John Clement. Pamela Gibson. Mark Chilton.
Yes.
Andy Work.
We have 6 yes, this item passes. Moving on to item H, 20-141, I-30 South, a sign. Chelsea, please read the request.
Put the same thing on here, Jason. A sign company on behalf of Minton Law Firm requesting approval of a sign to be placed on the side of their building at 20141. According to City of Benton sign ordinance, signs cannot be larger than 10% of the wall size.
So again, this is a painted wall sign. This does meet the 10% rule. So that's why there was no variance in Board of Adjustment for this particular sign.
Is there anyone here that wishes to speak this item? Is there anyone here that wishes to speak against this item? Are there questions from the commission? Since there are no comments, questions, or representation, I would entertain a motion if you feel so inclined. Being none, this item will fail for lack of representation and lack of a motion. Moving on to 1024 Military Road, a sign. Chelsea, please read the request. I'm sorry.
Southpaw Designs on behalf of Tobacco Town requesting approval of a mural to be painted on the side of their building at 1024 Military Road. I'm not going to read the 10%. All rules, requirements have been met in accordance with City Ordinance. DRC Benton Utilities have approved.
So to probably answer Commissioner Gibson's question here, the commission can still review this sign. If you approve it, though, it is approved, but it still has to meet, it'll be denied at our level because it does not meet the 10% rule. So if you feel like the painted sign is fine, you can approve it, but we cannot issue the sign permit until they show us a sign of similar look at the 10%. Okay?
Thank you. Is there anyone here representing this item? Is there anyone here that wishes to speak against this item? Being no representation, if the commission is comfortable making a motion, I will entertain a motion. Since there is no motion, this item will fail as well. Moving on to item J, code amendment, multiple definitions. Chelsea. Jason.
Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you, Mr. Chair. What I'm bringing forward to you is there is a lot of new type of housing that's coming along, that's being built in other areas. And this is actually putting in definitions for these types of houses, so you're not going to be surprised. And I believe everybody should have gotten an email earlier this week from the mayor, or late last week from the mayor, July 17th. James Walden with Garver Engineering, and also he was the former state APA president, and he's with the Municipal League, is going to come and discuss these housing types with everybody. What I'm having here is just adding these definitions. I've already put a request in for council to table it until July. But have y'all review it now, and if you approve of the definitions that are in there, we can have it ready to go for council in July after we meet and have that discussion with James, and any open discussion on just the definitions shown. What we have here are modular homes. Modular homes meaning it is brought onto site, usually with a crane, and it is assembled on site. So I want to make sure a modular home is not a manufactured or mobile home. This is built directly onto a foundation. It's going to meet building code of the area and so forth. A tiny home, just to give a definition, we actually have our first tiny home being built in the city. I believe off of Liberty, a gentleman came in, it's about 700 square feet. It's on a permanent structure, assembled on site, and meets all the building codes. Just to change the definition, this is one I saw, I believe I was looking up at Bentonville and Benton County, tiny home on wheels. This is, again, this one we classify as an RV. So it would have to be put in an RV park or something similar. It wouldn't be allowed to stay freestanding on a individual lot by itself. It would not be considered a residential, single-family detached housing. Tiny home community, if we ever get a cottage development of some sort, tiny home community is a placement of 3 or more tiny homes. There are some of these popping up in other cities. We have not seen any yet, but if you think of also like with our ADUs, very similar. And then one request from city council members and the mayor is defining a truck stop plaza. Basically defining as a commercial facility designed for long haul drivers with refueling services, parking for large commercial vehicles, offering amenities for drivers such as food, showers, laundry, rest, and short-term and overnight parking. Now, I want to be clear, this does not affect Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's is not a truck stop. If you know Buc-ee's, they do not allow trucks on their property other than for their gas and merchandise removal. That's it. There's no overnight parking or anything. And they don't have showers, so it does not cater to long haul. And not allow truck stops within the city. Or if we do, it'd be in a heavy industrial area that would allow big trucks. But typically truck stops you're not going to find except along major corridors. And so that's where we are on these. So welcome to redefine any of these definitions. I would like to push it forward tonight if you so choose. If you'd like to table it and discuss it more next month, that is fine as well. But my intention is not to really have it go to council until July.
Do you think this item requires a motion of any kind?
It is a code amendment, so it does
Okay.
need planning commission
it.
approval because it's updating our code 202.002. Container homes I would more classify as a modular home. So, and that may be something we need to look at as well, container homes, because that is something that came up in conversations, and we've had a gentleman talk about that now. So, and that's part of the reason the mayor would like to have that meeting on the 17th to discuss it with the elected officials and the planning commission. So you're not surprised when you see them and you see different sorts. I assume if you are up in the Northwest Arkansas area, you've seen a lot of offices pop up like that. There's one right on I-49 that actually looks very good. Now, if it's done appropriately and correctly, there's no issues with any of these types of homes. It's just making sure we have the safeguards in place and the definitions are there for these particular ones and make sure they meet our building codes.
I don't have any problem with this, but I'd like to have the benefit of the meeting on the 17th. What do y'all think? Could it go?
After the 17th would be actually on that following Monday,
Monday.
which is the
That's kind of
20th. So it'll be brought in front of the commissions committee, or again, if you would like, I would if you'd like to remove these definitions or table them, I'm fine with that. So there can be more discussion. And if we want to table it even till August, that's fine, or we can come back to it next month.
Jason, the meeting is July 17th, right?
Yeah, that's the Friday. It'd be from roughly 1 to 4 o'clock. That's hard to say because you.
These definitions, does that include the subdivision?
No, that's going to be just discussion tonight.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve these tonight.
We have a motion by Commissioner Gibson, second by Commissioner Chilton. Chelsea, please read or call the roll.
Brett Chumley? Lois Burks? John Clements? Emily Gibson?
Yes.
Mark Chilton? Andy Warford?
We have 6 yes, this item passes. Moving on to title number 6, other business. Item A, discussion on redefining major versus minor subdivisions. I assume Jason.
Yes. So this item is just for discussion. There's no vote on it, and I would like to probably bring this back as a code amendment to our subdivision regulations next month or in August. So this is going to
Thank you. Are there any questions on these definitions from the commission or comments? If there are none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. We have a motion and a second. I guess everyone was just, all in favor say aye. We stand adjourned.